Wow, very good. How old are you?
14.
And you're going into freshman year next year?
Yeah.
Good for you. This is hard stuff, man. Very cool. Couple things. I'm gonna start from the very beginning. When we have ba-da, 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 okay, we want to make sure that we're not really cutting off those staccato notes. Okay? And I know staccato means short and all that good stuff, but we want to make sure that it actually exists as a note. Because sometimes, like, it's 50-50. You're given sometimes that staccato a good length, but then other times you're just like ripping it out of the music like it doesn't exist. So, like, here's what I want. Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. And this is what I'm hearing. Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. You hear it up here, like that aggressiveness. We're cutting that note short. So can you try that for me with that idea of don't really cut that note super duper short. Okay? Give it a shot. That's okay. Try it again. Yeah, and they still want to exist, and they existed there. We just don't want to cut them so short that they're not there. It happens also, measure 35 and 36. Bum, 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 bum. We want to make sure too that those still exist too. Can you just play those two measures for me, 35, 36, with that staccato? Did you hear that? Da, 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 da. Make that a little bit longer for me. I know it's just crazy in a staccato, a sliver longer. Try it. That's okay. Yes. I don't even care about right now. I care about staccatos. Try it. Yes. Yes. You want them to have some substance. Okay? Because they wouldn't have written a note there if they didn't want it to be there, right? Cool. Then you got some crazy 16th notes going on here. So I'm just gonna keep moving down like for the trio. Two things I want us to think about when we have these running 16th notes. The first one is your fingers come before the tongue. Okay, sometimes we get off, like our tonguing and our fingers get off rhythm together. So we want to make sure that your fingers are down before you tongue, which is hard to do when you're going fast, right? Okay, so we get that and then you get that off kilter. So we just want to make sure when we're practicing. Do you slow this down and then you bring it up to tempo when you practice?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where that finger first is really going to come into play when you're doing that slow practice. And then when you bring it up faster, the work is already done for you. You got that less thud part. So can you just try that for me at the trio? Thinking fingers first and then your tongue. Go for it. That's okay. And slow it down a little bit. Slow it down. You don't need to go super duper fast. Try it again. Keep going. Right there. Did you hear that? Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what I'm talking about. So when you just bring it down, and if you hear that flop, then slow it down. There's nothing wrong with slowing it down and just kind of work those fingers. Clarinet, it's hard. We don't have 3 buttons to push like brass instruments do. We have a lot of phalanges to be working with. So we got it. It's all part of that coordination, that muscle memory. Okay? Then, to help us, I'm going to jump ahead. Measure 50-51. You have these really cool classic clarinet runs of ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. I'm looking at the F sharp, A, D, F sharp, then you have G, B, D, G. See what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
When we have figures like that, or any set of running 8th notes, you need to focus, you need to sit, or not sit even, you need to aim for that first note of those 16 measures to make sure that A, we're on a steady beat, and B, to make sure that we're prepared to, it's like a launch pad. So like on that F, A, D, F sharp, da-da-da-da, 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 and once we get that solid first note, your fingers and your tongue and everything will do the rest. So we want to make sure we just keep that, we aim for that first note. So why don't you try back like that pick up into 15 and see if you can just kind of, and not necessarily like sit on that first note, but just focus on reaching that first note, because then everything else will take care of itself. Give it a shot right there, pick up into 50. That's okay. Yes. And then when you're like auditioning for colleges and you play the Mozart Clarinet Concerto, that same concept is in there. Like, have you heard of a clarinet concerto before?
No.
Go listen, Mozart Clarinet Concerto. It's the best clarinet concerto ever. And they do that. You cannot get away from it. Okay? But focusing on that first note is really, literally going to take you places. Okay? Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay. Very good. Give me a minute to write some stuff down and then we'll hand you back your music. Very, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.